entire office that we've set aside for gaming is presently a bit of an embarrassment. For a channel that builds so many PCs, we haven't got that nice of a space to actually test out just how good they are. Take this random desk setup that just doesn't make any sense and this completely bland plain wall. And I've finally decided to do something about it. So in this video, I'm going to be transforming this room into the ultimate gaming room. Let's do this. So here's the plan of action. First, I'm going to take this desk setup out and replace it with something more suitable for the room and more exciting. Second, I'm going to be transforming this wall over behind the camera to make it nice for the backdrop of our video content. And third, I'll be transforming the ceiling with a Hexagon Lighting Rig and in-ceiling speakers for awesome in-room sound. I'm so excited. And the best bit is that all the tools that I need to make this room transformation possible have been sent over by Amazon as part of their Prime Day deal celebrations. I'll link my favorite Prime Day deals below, which you can check out and talk more about them later. But for now, the first thing is getting this desk out of here and getting things started. Yeah, baby. In order to actually move this desk properly though, I do need to take everything off it at the moment. The hope really is to have a desk that we can test multiple PCs on at once. So multiple high resolution monitors, and that will also allow multiple of us to game at the same time, or at least that's the plan. As far as what's actually going to replace these, I've gone ahead and picked up two of these really long IKEA desks, a bit of a classic I appreciate, and we're going to have hopefully a really nice corner desk from here, running round and then along the back wall as well. This is where my new Bosch tools are going to come in pretty handy. This particular kit has basically everything I could ever need to build exactly what I'm looking to build. I only need a fairly simple screwdriver setup for this one, so a screwdriver bit and a magnetic screwdriver, nice and simple. I'm sure the hammer and the spirit level will come in handy a little bit later. Let's see though if we can get into this. Aha, the hammer does have a use. Yes, this is exactly what I need. Doing me all the favors here. And just like that, we have two sets of drawers that are now built up. I'm gonna put this long desk against the back wall and then this desk here against the side wall, which should give us a layout, a little something like this. Yes. When I join these together, I'm hoping it's gonna look sick. You know what? That is a lot of desk. It sounds obvious, but that's more desk than I thought it was gonna be. I love it though. Yes. The next thing on my list is actually going ahead and putting all of the shelves on the wall. These are a great way of making the wall look a little bit more interesting and engaging without going to the effort of painting it. Now, for this, I'm gonna use my Bosch toolkit, available on offer right now on Prime Day. I'll link this and some of my other favorite Prime Day finds down at the description below. And luckily for me, this has got basically all of the bits I could possibly need to get these shelves onto the wall. So first things first, I need to go ahead and measure up how I want the shelves to sit. I've got a mix of long floating shelves and also short floating shelves for a nice bit of variety and loads of products that we can put on these to keep things looking nice and interesting. 52.5 between. The first bracket then is installed and you can see the shelf just pops on nice and easily. He says, yes. Look at that. One shelf down, 8 to go. And the very, very last shelf, here we go, slide it on. Oh my goodness. So the shelves are up. I'm really happy with how they look, but there are a few things I think we could do a little bit better. So I've got these RGB wall lights. In fact, I've not got 2 sets per box. I've got 2 boxes, so 4 sets of wall lights just to accent and offset the shelves and all the stuff that we put on them. Now, these weren't particularly expensive. Picked these up from Amazon about a week ago. RGB lighting is an area where there are always some amazing variety of products to be had. And if you look at these, I've not really seen anything like this before. It's basically a bunch of tubes that kind of click together, I think. Yes, there we are. Look at that. And it like provides some diffusion. I believe that in the box, oh no, oh dearie me, we've had some casualties. Mission failed. There should, yes, be some corner pieces. Now what that means, we click this in. I'm gonna drop absolutely everything in this segment of the video. Mission failed. And you can see, once I've clicked a set together, just kind of how these might help offset, as I say, the shelves and the products on them. Actually quite impressed, and you get 2 of these per pack, and they didn't cost me particularly a lot of money. Links will be in the description below. Here we go, first one's gonna get stuck on. Quite a big moment. Obviously not the final permanent power solution, but if we plug it in to see just how good it looks. Oh, yes! Oh, that looks amazing. Imagine this with all products on it. I'm gonna repeat this off camera for the rest of the shelves and then deck all of the shelves out with stuff so that this room starts to look a bit more fun. One of the other upgrades I've picked up for this room is these. Now, these are in-ceiling speakers, and for a room like this where we want to have really great sound quality without a visible solution, I think these could be an awesome bet. Now, in terms of how they work, I've taken out one of the blank ceiling panels in our office that looks a little something like this. I've done a fairly crude job of actually cutting out a hole using the included template, which is going to give me a little something like this. Now, what we're then going to do is take this included speaker unit that looks a little something like so, and actually place it flat on the desk. Then in theory, if I've cut the hole to the right size, this should simply slot into place without too much hassle. Yes? Okay. And the final result? Look at that. A little bit of wiring to do. Need to repeat this for the second speaker, but you can scale this up. You could have 4 speakers in this room. You could have like a 7.1 surround sound system with a subwoofer. There's loads of options. Never thought of doing this before. A nice touch for a room like this. I've also picked up a receiver that works via a wired or Bluetooth connection, allowing me to plug in the PCs for gaming or for music or a phone. Loads of different connectivity options, but you do need a separate like amp DAC for these, as they are passive unpowered speakers. The next thing on the list is these Hexagon ceiling lights. Now, you can see they click together really easily using these couplers and the included diffused RGB, no, not RGB, they're only white, but that's okay, white LED tubes. Now, I've kind of reached a point where I can't really build anymore on the floor, as I've run out of floor space. So I'm going to put this up onto the ceiling and then complete the installation. I've also picked up these little ceiling hangers here alongside some fishing wire, which I'm going to use to suspend it from the suspended ceiling. So let's see how this goes. They're all finally up and it's time for the big turn on. I don't know if this is going to work, hoping it's going to work. Here we go. Oh my goodness me. Wow. Oh my word. That is amazing. But there is more to actually do to this room, and there is more technology related other than just my new Hexagon lighting grid. And that is this. Now, you may notice here we have some parts and a PC build. Now, these aren't actually the parts for this PC build. They kind of are. Let me explain. So this was sent over a little while ago by Chillblast, who built this like amazing custom gaming PC for us. And I thought that it would make perfect sense in this room. But I need to build another one so we can have a twin gaming setup. And to make sure it's fair, so that when I'm 1v1ing all of the Geeka Media video editors, we all have a fair stab at it, I've decided to go ahead and pick up basically identical parts to this build, but in a different chassis. Let me talk you through exactly what we've got. So we've got Samsung 990 Pro, a 2TB NVMe drive here, and a 32GB kit of Corsair Vengeance RGB memory. Always great offers available on this, so I'll link this and everything else in this build on Amazon down in the description below. RTX 4070 Ti in terms of the GPU. Not a card without controversy, but as we won't be using it in too many builds on the channel due to AMD's price competitiveness, I thought we'd use it in this system. I will, however, be linking my favourite GPUs in the description below. Cooling wise, we've got a Corsair H100i Elite Pelix 240mm all-in-one liquid cooler. Does what it says on the tin. Also going to be adding in 750 watts of Asus ROG Strix power. I'm building the whole system on a TUF X670E plus Wi-Fi motherboard. CPU, by the way, is an AMD Ryzen 7 7700X. Here it is. Lovely CPU, more than good enough for the gaming application that we need. And it's also going to give this system and this whole room in general a bit of oomph for both gaming and tasks like streaming and video editing too. Oh, the case, by the way, I forgot the most important bit. Wait there. It's the mini fish tank. It is, of course, none other than the Height Y40. Really, really like this case, and it's white, so it should loosely match the fractal case used in the custom GeekaWhat wrapped PC. First thing to do with any PC build is, of course, take the motherboard out the box and install the processor. Now, this is an X670 board, arguably slightly overkill, really, for what we're doing here today, but I'll just show you it's got all of the different features on we could possibly want. From 4 RAM DIMMs for our DDR5 memory, PCI Gen 4, loads of M.2 heatsinks, and a decent I/O at the back, Wi-Fi 6E, 2.5 gig Ethernet, and plenty of high-speed USB ports for good measure. Of course, as well, has the socket that we need to install the AMD Ryzen 7 7700X, and that's going to easily install a little something like so into the CPU socket. While I'm here, also just going to pop in the RAM and SSD, 32 gigs of RAM, plenty for, of course, making sure that we can get loads of those nice fast RAM speeds. NVMe drives another area. SSDs and storage, always a place where you can find good value and good offers if you look carefully and look in the right places. And if I can unscrew the heatsink, I'll be able to pop in the blisteringly fast Samsung 990 Pro. Gen 4 NVMes have got so cheap. I saw a 2TB 980, for example, for under £100 the other week. I mean, that is unbelievable value, really, when you think about it. 2TB of the latest Gen 4 storage. Of course, this motherboard also supports PCI Gen 5 for a bit of future-proofing. I've always been a big fan of the Height Y40. It's not been as successful as the Height Y60, but I still think it's pretty nice. It's got nice toolless side panels, the build quality feels pretty amazing, and of course you get Height's signature vertical GPU mount just here that is one of the best in the industry I've ever seen as far as vertically mounting a GPU goes. Lie the case down flat, and that's going to make the whole build process a lot easier. CPU cooler is the next part to go in, and in this case, because of the sort of sideways mounted radiator, it should look pretty good. I think I'm going to sort the cables out later and actually mount the water block on first. The final step really, other than putting the power supply in, is to get the GPU in. Now the 4070 Ti Strix is a big boy, but will it? Yep, we're slotted in. Beautiful, look at that. So the cooler's in, the GPU is in, although I need to fasten it down with my screwdriver, keep it steady. Otherwise, that's looking pretty good. And a few moments later, the build is complete. Take a look at this. Now, it's obviously not identical to the other build, but it is very, very similarly spec'd, which makes it a perfect option for the dual gaming setup in here. As far as monitors goes, I've picked up a couple of panels from GeekaWhat. The first is their high refresh rate Aorus panel. This is a 1440p display with a higher refresh rate for really competitive gaming. And then also one of their 4K panels, the M32U, which has a 4K display, still a relatively high refresh rate, but that higher resolution for those more cinematic max settings titles. Keyboards wise, I've got the MSI GK50 lineup. These are the GK50 Elite. This has got the more clicky sort of blue style switches, while this one has the more linear reds, and a pair of gaming mice from Cooler Master for good measure. As far as headset goes, we're kind of sort of matching with a black and a white pair from Corsair. These are their HS55s and HS65s. So fairly similar. If you want to learn about the differences between these, check out our reviews over on GeekaWhat.com, which will give you a more detailed rundown. And once that's done, the ultimate gaming room transformation is finally finished. I am absolutely in love with how this room turned out, from the Hexagon lighting grid to the shelves, the desk, and everything in between. A massive shout out to Amazon for making this video possible. Thanks for watching, and as always, we'll see you in the next one.